let's get this party started. Party of one, because it's just me and you if you're watching this, so welcome to my party. On a real note, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jenna, and I'm so happy you clicked on this video, because if you did, that probably means you're either curious about how to start YouTube, or I don't know, you want to start YouTube. I don't know, you just are curious. I'm guessing, just taking a long shot. You want to know how to start a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna tell you. My name is Jenna, and I've had a YouTube channel for just over a year now, and I'm a lot further along than I expected my channel to be, and I am super grateful for how far I have come. And I just thought it might be kind of nice to share with you guys who might be thinking about starting a channel or have a channel and don't really know how to improve it. I don't know, I just wanted to really share some advice that I've learned over this past year. Kind of a beginner's guide to YouTube, or a guide to YouTube for dummies. Don't take it offensive. I'm not calling y'all a dummy. We all gotta start somewhere. The point is, I just wanted to share some information with you guys, and feel free to watch, feel free not to. It's gonna be a lot of me talking, and I know how you guys feel about me talking a lot. I see the comments. If you don't like hearing me talk, you might not want to watch this video. But for those of you who are genuinely interested in how to slide into the YouTube career, then keep watching this video. Let me just spill it. Spill the beans, spill the tea. Spill it then, Jenna. Get to the freaking point. Okay, so I started YouTube about a year ago. I already said that, I know. You're gonna hear probably some repetitive talking during this video. I also apologize in advance if this video is excessively long, but feel free to watch all those ads, okay? Okay. So yes, I started YouTube about a year ago. I was 24, I believe, maybe? Yeah, 24. And I was just feeling very empty inside. You know, I'm the kind of person that, like, I do something and I get very bored very quickly. And that's a personal problem. Growing up, I never told myself, like, I'm gonna be this when I grow up, or I wanna do this one day. You know, I'm just not that kind of person. There's literally nothing in this world that has, like, piqued my interest. And it's really sad, and it really made me feel very empty. It did not help with my depression. I was just in a really stuck place in my life. I just wanted to have such a really awesome life, and I thought by 24 I would have had it, and obviously I didn't, and I just wanted to find my calling. We are always told that, like, all of us, each of us has a purpose in life, and I was so desperate to find what that purpose was, and I just wasn't finding it. I was very bored with my everyday lifestyle. I was just that person that was waking up, going to work, paying bills, doing it all over again every single day. And part of me still is kind of like that, but now I do YouTube, and that is where my creativity comes out. And growing up, I've always been a very creative brain. I never in a million years thought that videography would be something where I could use my creative brain, but I at the time was actually watching a lot of YouTube, and I was pretty much only watching Ace Family. I was introduced to their channel by a really good friend that I used to work with. Shout out to you, Nate. You know who you are. I hope you're doing well. Nate introduced me to the Ace Family, and I just became obsessed because I felt that they were pretty young like me and just having fun. I was actually a little bit inspired by the Ace Family and how they just kind of started a channel doing anything they wanted to do and putting it online, and that seemed really crazy at the time. And I would show my boyfriend Steven these videos because I thought they were hilarious, and he actually introduced the idea of me starting a channel, which at the time I wasn't really like comfortable with it. I really didn't know what I would do. I was scared, and I put it off for a good year until I finally just put my foot down and just started a YouTube channel. In the beginning, starting my channel was a little bit difficult because you're 24, you work crap jobs forever, you're not going to school, you're not like doing anything major with your life, and you tell your friends and family like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel, or I want to start a YouTube channel, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, well, what are you gonna do? Or what's your YouTube channel gonna be about? And that question was one of the hardest questions to answer, because unless you know you're going to be a gaming channel or a cooking channel or a children's channel, unless you know you're going to be like a specific type of channel to attract a certain audience, you really have no idea. You just know you want to try it and you want to see how it turns out, if people like you on the internet, and go from there. Is that too much to ask, friends and family? Apparently it is, because then people just kind of look at you like, okay, but what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna make money? Like, it's just kind of one of those things where they're like, I'll believe it when I see it. If it works out, cool. Not to say most of my friends and family weren't supportive, but it's just you get this like kind of vibe from people that like they don't believe in you until you actually start doing it. I knew that I had never really committed myself, giving something my 100% all pretty much ever in my entire life. And with people not really understanding why I wanted to start my channel, I knew that I had to give it everything that I had, because I wanted to prove them wrong. You know, I wanted to prove that, look, I can start this channel, I'm gonna make it something, because I'm gonna do something with my life other than wake up, go to work, pay my bills, and do it all over again the next day for the rest of my life. So that's where YouTube became my creative outlet. Of course, it was just for fun. I didn't make money right away out of this, and now I genuinely look at this as like, not necessarily a side job, but like a side career, because I put way more effort into filming and editing and coming up with content than I do with my regular job, which I actually work at my regular job more than this. But even at my regular job, I'm working on this and I'm thinking about this every single day. So it turned into something so much more than I needed to find an outlet, you know what I mean? And I'm so grateful for it. And maybe you are stuck in that same position where you're waking up, going to work, and paying your bills and have no idea what to do. And you've always thought in the back of your mind, what if I started a YouTube channel? How do I do that? I don't have money. Well, I'm here to help you, because after all, this is beginners to YouTube for dummies, right? Oof. Right, so that brings me to my next subject. If you want to make a channel and have that channel grow, you have to be really serious about it. You have to constantly push yourself. And I'm not saying that consistency is key, like posting videos consistently like every Wednesday or every Monday, whatever it is. That's not the key to being successful on YouTube. Like, you just genuinely have to be a likable person. You have to have an audience and they have to like you, and then you'll get views and a following, aka subscribers, and it'll just go up from there. But for you personally, if you want to start a channel, you have to take it seriously. I see this all the time from small YouTubers. They will post once, or maybe not, like maybe they'll post like 2 videos one week, skip a week, 1 video the next week, skip a month, 1 video out of nowhere, and then they're not going to post anything for 3 months. So unless you're okay with being that inconsistent on YouTube, like you're genuinely just putting videos out whenever you want for fun, that's up to you, but you're never gonna grow that way. If I'm just being completely honest, being that kind of small YouTuber, it's just, it doesn't work. Like, an audience, in order for them to like love you and want to grow with you, you have to be consistent. I started YouTube with the same intention as most people, is that like I need to fill some void in my life, use my creative energy and put it forward towards something, right? I knew I wasn't gonna be making money right away, but I still chose to stay consistent. I still chose to push myself to post every week if I could, whether it was crap content or good content. And now, me having done this a year, if I don't have content for the next week, or if my content isn't good, I'm not gonna post, but I know I'm gonna post the next week. You see the difference there? Be consistent, and most importantly, be yourself.
Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Now come on, Mikey and I are making snow angels.
I don't want to be myself.
That is probably number 1. You've probably heard it from a lot of like bigger YouTubers, and I see it in myself sometimes, where we're different on camera than in like our everyday life. I think it's really important to just like generate your most genuine self through this lens, because people want to like you for you. If people don't like you, they're not going to watch you. We all know that. But if people do like you, then they're going to watch you because they like you. for who you are. So be yourself. I know it's really nerve-wracking in the beginning when you're talking to a camera and there's hello? There's nobody else here. It's a little awkward. Over time, you'll learn to get comfortable with it. You get used to it. You start yelling at yourself in front of the camera and you're just like, ain't nothing but a chicken wing. First things first, starting a YouTube channel. It's an idea in your head. You've always wanted to do it. What do you do now? Before I bought anything, I took a piece of paper and I wrote down 30 content ideas. Whether they're stupid, impossible, unoriginal, whatever it is, just write down 30 ideas. Because after all, this is going to start to create your startup plan, like how you want to start your YouTube channel. And these are also going to give you backup ideas to give you that consistency. I would say starting out with 1 video a week is pretty fair. And if you have 30 ideas and you're running out of ideas, well, hello, you got 30 weeks worth of ideas right there. So you're constantly gonna go back to those. I'm just that kind of person where I love notebooks. I get it from my mother. I have one in my backpack, one on my nightstand, one just laying in my room, one in my car. Notebooks everywhere where I'm constantly writing down ideas, because let me tell you this. When you have started a YouTube channel and you've consistently been working on it, thinking about it, weeks on end, you're not gonna go back to those 30 ideas. I still have that list of original 30 ideas that I wrote down, and I haven't even filmed 3/4 of them. I don't even know what percentage that is, and I don't even want to think about the math right now. But that's a lot, because when you get into this mode where you film your first couple videos, you upload them, you only have a couple subscribers, doesn't matter, you're pushing through, you know this is something you want to do. Content just kind of starts like naturally coming to you, and it's crazy. It's a really weird experience when it comes to content, but over time you just like kind of become addicted to YouTube. It's like a whole nother form of social media, am I right? I watch a lot of YouTube because I love to watch YouTube just in general, but to me, it's like homework, because I'm learning about how other creators are editing their videos, ideas that they're getting that I can maybe like recreate, but maybe put a twist on them. Like watching other YouTube videos and lots of other channels, all of different styles, is really gonna help you, because you're gonna gain so much more knowledge and creativity from other creators. So I highly recommend to make that list. Again, it's gonna be a really good startup plan. It's gonna inspire you more, and overall it's a backup plan, because if I ever run out of content, I can always go back to that original list. Okay, now getting into some juicy stuff. So chapter 1, 2, 3, I don't even know what chapter we're on, but anyways, this next topic is going to be film, or filming, how I film, all that stuff. I'm going to share with you guys what products I use while I film. So I do have quite a few different cameras. I'm very blessed to have the equipment that I have, but I'm gonna share with you guys, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on equipment, trust me, there are a lot of things that you can do to substitute for highly expensive equipment. Let me just make it clear that all of the products that I have were not purchased brand new. Everything that I own equipment wise, besides like my ring light, I'm mostly talking about like camera equipment, my computer, very expensive stuff. All of these items were bought used. You can go to Best Buy, whether it's online or in store, and buy used equipment that is almost brand new. Like my computer was used and I saved hundreds of dollars on it because it had a slight scratch, I think. Like it's ridiculous, but it's brand new. Like they can't resell anything if it doesn't pretty much look new, but you're gonna save hundreds of dollars that way. One of my cameras was actually purchased on eBay. That is a little risky. Wouldn't highly recommend eBay to anybody when it comes to used equipment, but it is an option, and again, you can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars, so keep that in mind. There are lots of options: Best Buy, Amazon, used stuff on Amazon, and eBay, but make eBay your last option perhaps. When I started, I was blessed to be given a Canon G7X. Now this is the most basic, typical, everybody on YouTube has one of these. It is probably the best starting camera anybody could ever have when starting YouTube. Even with my most expensive camera, I find myself going back to the G7X because It's just so good. It's so good. I think it runs for like $600, but again, you can get it cheaper in a lot of other places. Keep that in mind, folks. The Canon G7X is literally my ride or die. I use it all the time. I've been using it since day one, and I will, when this one dies, I'm gonna buy another one because I love it so much. I highly, highly, highly recommend it if you have that money and are really serious about starting YouTube. Buy this Canon G7X because you're not gonna regret it. It's great. You can see yourself in the viewfinder, although remember, look at the lens, that's most important. It's just overall a really great camera, and I'm really thankful for it because it's been through so much with me throughout this YouTube career. I love this camera probably the most. For my next camera, I have, it's called a Lumix, I believe. I don't know, I could totally be pronouncing this wrong. Now this camera is very, very, very expensive. It's like $1,000 something. I don't even know. I did not purchase this camera. This camera is actually not mine. It is on loan from my boyfriend. Really thankful for him. I wanted to use it so badly because it has much more like cinematic features than obviously the G7X. I don't use this one all the time, but I do love it. There's just so many components and buttons and ways to film with this that I'm just not educated enough on yet, that I'm trying to learn. So it's definitely not a necessity. And then I also have just a basic Canon Rebel T5, and it's a great camera, but I don't recommend these kind of cameras at all for when you're filming. Like, it's just not good. It's a great camera for photos, which I will continue to use it just for photos, but again, not for filming. If you're gonna buy a camera, get the G7X or get a really decent like Canon, Sony, like really nice one that like you can see yourself, that you know is gonna have really good quality. If you want to start a channel and you have no money to buy even the G7X, your family's not gonna buy it for you, but you still want to start a channel and you don't know how to film, let me just say, this bad boy called the phone, your cell phone, which I know most of you have, is a perfect tool. So I just have my, it's a 7. Yeah, I know, I'm super like in the dinosaur age, right? Just kidding. It works perfectly and I don't see the point in getting a new one. But anyways, your phone is a perfect tool for filming. I was given this little secret tip from my cousin Mason when I was starting YouTube, that when you're using your phone, if you have iPhone that is, probably Android too, because I know a lot of Androids out there are like probably better than iPhone, but you know, once you're iPhone you can't go back. But anyways, if you have an iPhone, because I've only ever used iPhone, this is how I know, you can actually film in 4K. So that's how you're gonna get a little bit better quality when it comes to your videos. You know, Tana Mojo still films on her phone, and look, she's got like 5 million subscribers, and people love that iPhone quality. They think it's so on brand for her. Now that we're done talking about the equipment that I use for filming, let's talk about how I film. Obviously, you can see I have this like, it's not even a setup, it's just my bedroom. Like, look, I haven't even made my bed. I slept in this a couple hours ago. Like, this is just my bedroom, guys. When it comes to filming, for me personally in my channel, it is a little bit difficult because I do all of my filming and stuff by myself, besides my nail videos when I force my cousin to come along with me. But he does it voluntarily, love him. But other than that, I am 100% solo in this channel. And that is very difficult. So that is when I have to learn to be a little bit creative about how I film. And that's where tripods come in super handy for someone like me, because I'm not like a David vlogger where I'm like holding the camera and filming people. Like, tripods are my go-to. Like, see, hands-free, me talking with my hands, and you guys are just chilling on a tripod over there. Works for me. I just have to find a way to make things work, and they end up always working somehow. So you just really gotta be creative with the way that you film. Next subject is going to be editing. So how I edit. I use a software called Final Cut Pro 10 or Final Cut Pro. It's called a number of things. I knew that I wanted this software ahead of time, and I knew that I needed a MacBook or some kind of Apple laptop to use this software. So again, I bought my laptop from Best Buy. Now, if you buy a computer from Apple, if you can prove that you're a student, this program comes free to you. It's complimentary. Otherwise, you do have to pay for it. If you have a MacBook or a Mac, I know that iMovie is what a lot of creators use. I know David Dobrik still uses iMovie, if I'm remembering correctly, and a lot of bigger creators still use iMovie. I personally don't know anything about iMovie. I don't mess with it because I think I'm proficient in Final Cut, and I continue to like grow my knowledge with Final Cut. If you are not a Mac user, there are other programs that you can use for just like regular PC laptops or computers. There is probably what I would consider like higher class editing would be, it's called Premiere Pro, which is an Adobe program. That is a monthly subscription, and it is, from what I've seen, very challenging to understand how to use. I know a lot of people that have paid for classes to understand on how to use this. If you want to go that route, there's a lot of options there, but I think that you can do a lot with Final Cut Pro and iMovie. I just tend to lean more towards Final Cut Pro. How I learned to edit my movies. I was gonna kind of go in depth on like certain transitions and stuff, but like I could literally go on forever. So I just wanted to share with you guys a video that I learned a lot of my basic keys for Final Cut Pro, and that was from a guy called David A. Cox, who has a YouTube channel, and I will link the video that I watched when I started editing videos in my description, so you guys can watch that if you are using Final Cut Pro, that is. And I use his tips and tricks today. And let me just say, everything that I have learned, filming wise, editing wise, everything, I have learned it on YouTube. You literally can find anything on YouTube, seriously. So if you are getting more comfortable with the editing process, like for instance you watch the David A. Cox and you got like basic tools in your mind of how to put a video together, but later on you start thinking like, oh, I want like this transition, but you don't know like how to describe it or where to find it, just YouTube it. You can always find something on YouTube. Everything that I have learned from other creators on YouTube. People pay a lot of money to go to school to learn how to do things that we can learn on YouTube. And I'm not promoting to not go to school to learn these things. I'm just saying that for folks like us who don't go to school and want to learn how to edit, film, and all this stuff, we can literally learn it on YouTube for free. And that's crazy to think about, so take advantage of it, guys, because it's a great key to have. Also, when it comes to like editing, for me personally, when it came to like learning Final Cut Pro, the more you just like randomly spend your time on there, the more you will learn. So just like take the time to just click on things, see what certain buttons do, transitions look, put in a little bit more effort in some things because you'll learn a lot more about them. My biggest tips for editing are these three things. First would be to crop. So after you've exported all of your footage, you're gonna want to take all of that footage down and crop it because you want to get rid of any long excess breaks. Like for instance, if you looked, I cropped that section. But had I not cropped that section, long excess breaks, like for instance, you can see that that's kind of like a long pause, right? That is called a jump cut, but when you're beginning YouTube, you kind of space out. I space out all the time. I'm always like, wait, what am I saying? And then you got to get back to what you're saying, right? Now, before we get into the second stage, you have to completely crop everything. So between each stage, you need to constantly look over your entire video over and over again to get it down to the whatever 10 minutes and whatever seconds you want, you know? It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. I'm just saying, like, I'm filming for probably 2 hours right now. This is gonna be condensed to like 20 minutes maybe. Just keep reviewing that footage from beginning to end over and over and over again until you get to the second stage, which would be then to add effects, transitions, filters, all that fun stuff. And one thing that I learned when it came to transitions and certain effects, it's the same thing that I said earlier. Practice will make perfect. As time passes along, you will eventually grow and gain more knowledge of the program that you're using to edit. I've learned when it comes to certain transitions to add a sound effect, because it just kind of makes it different and you're feeling something. If it's like a swoop transition, then I'm gonna add a swish sound. So instead of it just being, it's gonna be, it just sounds so much better, doesn't it? So that's just something I've learned over time when it came to effects. And after the first cropping stage, the second stage, things start to get a little bit more fun. Again, before we move on to the third stage, you have to constantly go from beginning to end of your storyline, reviewing and watching over and over just to make sure that everything is pretty much as condensed and exactly how you want it to be uploaded. Now for stage number 3, this is the last stage, music. Adding music is so important to your videos. I used to get a little excessive with music, not gonna lie, but music adds feeling to your video. I think it's really important to do this last. It's very rare that you come across a video that you're creating to revolve around a song, especially in the YouTube community, because we can't use copyrighted music. So we have to use uncopyrighted music that is available to us on the internet. It's not like I hear the song, "It's Raining Men." It's raining men. And then I know I'm gonna film a scene of like me dancing, I don't know, doing God knows what. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare in the YouTube community where we have a song that we know we're gonna shoot to that song. So after I've edited my entire video, then I go to the internet to find uncopyrighted songs that go with the video that I filmed. If you watched my last video, there's certain scenes that go with certain music. With the expectation scene, it's kind of like a fantasy, you know what I mean? Like we're in La La Land, so I wanted something very like dreamy and just like give me that like ambiance feeling of like we're in Fantasyland together, right? I picked a song that made me feel that for that scene. So that's where the music came in last. Now where do we find this so-called uncopyrighted music? In the beginning, obviously you have to have a certain amount of like subscribers and watch time, blah blah blah, all this stuff to like actually become a channel, which I talked about that in a video a while back. I couldn't use the system that I use now, which is called Epidemic Sound, which is just a website where I have to put in my YouTube channel. It's like $15 a month. I have unlimited amount of songs that I can download from this website, and there's actually pretty good songs. I mean, you tell me what you think of the songs that I put into my videos, but a lot of creators use this. It's a great tool to use. You can look up a number of genres and all kinds of stuff, and it's great. It's only $15 a month. Till then, I was using a system called Audio Jungle, which is where you have to pay per song, and it does get a little bit pricey, which is where you need to really like narrow down what kind of songs you want to put in your videos. It's like some of them could be $20 a song, but some of them could be like $5 a song. It's just a little bit more pricey versus me spending $15 a month on an unlimited amount of uncopyrighted music. So that is my video process. It is to crop, add effects, add music, and in between, review, edit before you go on to the next stage. I will link down below the first video that I watched on how I learned Final Cut Pro. But again, whatever you're using to edit, just look it up on YouTube. YouTube has everything right at your fingertips, so make the most of it. That is my biggest recommendation. Last but not least is the thumbnail. Now, a lot of creators have said that like thumbnails are probably like the biggest key to like having a hit video, which might be true, I don't know, but how do you make a thumbnail? We all want to know, right? I personally use something called Photoshop. I have been using Photoshop since the beginning, and unfortunately you can't just buy Photoshop as a program, which kind of sucks because I would rather just pay a couple $100 and have the program for life, because it is a really good program to have. It is a monthly subscription, and I just have, I think, the second to last cheapest one, which was like $19.99, and I've really enjoyed it. But let me tell you, the ride to get to where I am today was rough. I ended up paying $20 for an online class to teach me how to use Photoshop because I was looking up YouTube and I just wasn't getting it. So this was the one exception to the rule that YouTube has everything that you want to learn at your fingertips. So I paid $20 for an online class, which I will also link down below if I can find it. I know you can just find them online in a lot of places. But now that I'm like kind of proficient in the Photoshop department, it's really not that hard, guys. Like, you don't need to learn everything about it. There just is so much that you could learn about it. But if you're just using it for thumbnails, it's really simple. During my video, if I forget to actually take a thumbnail where I'm like, just doing my thing, you know? Then I will just take this and screenshot it on my laptop and then upload it to Photoshop from there. It's cheating, but it works. I'm not gonna go into depth on how to use Photoshop only because there just isn't enough time in the world for me to explain how to use it when you can just, again, go on YouTube, find a lot of things, or pay $20 for a class and learn everything. Anyways, I pay $19.99 a month to have Photoshop, but you can use, there's programs called PicMonkey. I think it's like $15 a month, and I know a lot of creators use that because it's a lot easier than Photoshop because it's more like directed towards like the thumbnail aspect of YouTube, I think. But if you don't want to pay for any of these programs, I know that if you have like Final Cut Pro or iMovie, just take a screenshot of your thumbnail, like just edit everything, take a screenshot, and then upload it. Once you're uploading your video, upload that screenshot as your thumbnail. That's a good loophole too. I've done that a number of times when I'm too lazy to use Photoshop. There's so many things that you can do, and the more you choose to do YouTube and like keep at it, the more you'll like think of like, oh well, I can just do this instead of using this, and all these things happen, and it's just like, whoa, how come I didn't realize this before? How come nobody told me this before? Another thing I want to talk about would be kind of considered extras. These are things that I have had or that I have that I don't necessarily consider a necessity when it comes to my YouTube channel. So first things first is I have a ring light. A lot of people use this. I'm using it right now. You can see I'm brighter. If I didn't have this, look. This is my crappy bedroom light. Look at. So yeah, having a ring light is really handy. It gives you great lighting and I love it. But if you don't have the money to buy a ring light, because they are a little bit pricey, just use natural light. Like really try to film in the daylight because nothing beats natural light. But right now it's pitch black outside because I'm choosing to film at nighttime because I chose to sleep in too late today to film in the day. Story of my life. That's why I use a ring light most of the time. Another thing that I have used in the past were backdrops, which a lot of people use backdrops, mostly like makeup people. If you're to go in the makeup route, it's probably a great thing to have. But me personally, I found them to be a huge pain in the ass. Yes, a huge pain. If you want a backdrop, you can find them on Amazon, super cheap. They're really inexpensive there, but definitely I don't recommend them. You don't need them. Just make use of what you got. Another item that I have is called a Rode mic, which is just a microphone attachment for my Lumix camera. And this is really nice because it does highly improve the audio quality. Is it necessary? No. I think my G7X does just fine with the audio. Your phone does kind of okay with audio. But if you are looking for very clear audio, getting an external microphone for your camera is a really good investment. So that's something to think about. It's nice to have, but it's not a necessity. And last but not least, I would love to talk about tripods. Tripods, in my experience, have been a lifesaver because I, again, film by myself. So I rely on tripods a lot. So tripods have really come in handy for me for all of my videos. If I'm being honest, I have a larger tripod, which is almost like the size of me. I think it's like 5 feet tall or something. That is like my main tripod, my ride or die. Love it. But again, you don't need it. You can easily rest your camera up on your shelf and film this way, up on your windowsill, film this way, up on a stack of books to film in front of you. There are so many other things that you can do besides just having a tripod, but it is really nice to have, if I'm being honest. And they collapse and fold into something that you can just shove in the corner and not look at until you're ready to film again. Another form of like tripod that I use is one of those like gorilla tripod things, and it's what I know a lot of YouTubers use. Again, it's not really a necessity. I do find that it comes in handy to like keep your camera pretty sturdy if you're like vlogging or anything. Actually, these are pretty expensive and there are cheaper versions available. I do recommend them. They're nice to have, but also video, they're not a necessity. So you don't have to have it right away. That's something that was really holding me back, was I felt like I needed all of these items to start my YouTube. And that was something that I was using as an excuse in the beginning, was like, well, I don't have this, I don't have like a good quality camera, and I don't have whatever, you know. It's just a number of things and excuses that I was telling myself. And the truth is, that was just me holding myself back. That could be you holding yourself back from you doing something that you could really enjoy and really excel in eventually. Stop telling yourself that you need all these items when you really don't. If you really wanted to do it, you would find a way, and I eventually just found my way. Stop making excuses and just do it. That's all I gotta say. I'm not your mother. It's your life. You do what you want to do. This was basically how I film, edit, what equipment I use, all that jazz in this video. I hope you guys liked it. I really just want to come on here to tell you guys that if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or you've been thinking about it, I've been there. Every creator has been there. I just want you to know that, like, we all have potential in this life for something. We were all given a gift, and I think that's where YouTube is a great platform for everybody, because there are so many different communities here. You know, if you want to do makeup, you can do makeup. If you want to just sit on your bed and talk to a camera and interact with people online, you can do that. If you want to be a gamer, you can do that. Us having these gifts, we just don't know how to like put them to use. Sometimes we don't know what they are. And I think the biggest thing is fear, because we all have self-doubt. We're all afraid of failure. I just want you to know that, like, unless you try, you're not gonna know. You know, you're gonna be stuck waking up every morning, going to work, paying your bills, and doing that on a loop the rest of your life. So if you want to do YouTube, you really just have to start. That is the key. You don't need any fancy materials. You don't need a fancy camera. Yeah, they're really nice to have, but if you start and you keep at it and people like you for who you are, eventually you can get those cameras to upgrade your quality. Like, these things just take time, but in order to get there, you just have to start. It's as simple as that. Wow, that got deep real quick. Anyways, this week's video shout out goes to someone named Jenna. So happy we have someone named Jenna watching my show, or my channel, whatever. This is my little show. Ta-da! But shout out to you, Jenna. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, you already know the drill. Give it a big thumbs up, and also make sure you're subscribed down below. And if you're thinking about being a future creator, don't be afraid to message me. I love talking to you guys who have questions about anything. It's just awesome. I like interacting with you guys on any of my social media platforms, which are always linked down below. That's it for this week's video, so I'll see you guys all next week on next week's video. Bye!